Good evening, good afternoon, and welcome back to the Rory Talks Football YouTube channel. Welcome back to the Arsenal Transfer Room Live, and it is deadline day. It is deadline day, technically. Not a deadline that we need to be worried about, but Chelsea trying to make moves and plenty of Arsenal stuff to talk about. We're talking Zubimendi, we're talking Sesko, we're talking Rodrygo, we're talking Barcola, which is pretty interesting. A few other odds and sods here and there as well. Possible outgoings, a bit on Zinchenko, Leandro Trossard. And it is good to see so many of you here. Absolutely rammed already. Vivi Vlad, Ethan Udall, Lukey, Pelzer, Graham, Vic, George, Christodoulou, Owen, Liam, Unknown, Jordan, Max, Evans, George, Tom. Haircut? I have had a haircut. I have just had a haircut. I don't know. The front looks a bit weird, to be honest with you, but I'm sure we'll manage. I'm sure we will manage. If you're new to the channel, please do subscribe. We are on the way to 19,000 subscribers. We are now well over halfway to 19,000 subscribers, which is mad because we only hit 18,000 a few days ago. Absolutely incredible support. And if you could like the video, I would be massively grateful before we get into things. How was the burger? Oh, it was delightful. Absolutely delightful. If you've not already seen it and you use TikTok, I now have another TikTok account just called Rory Talks with non-football related content. Had a juicy little burger review go up earlier. Yo, Rory, in a hurry, so hi and bye. Take care. Hope you're having a beautiful day. Nid, I appreciate you. Have a good one. How's the tooth infection? Oh, the tooth infection's gone. That was fine. No problem. Antibiotics are a wonderful thing. Love to see the growth. Vivi Vlad, a long-term legend of the channel. I appreciate it. As a Chelsea fan, what's the logic in Arsenal not even trying for Gittens? Not on your timeline. Too much to compete with Chelsea. I think we showed a little bit of interest. But I think if you look at the targets that we're going for, Nico Williams, Rodrygo, and apparently Barcola, I think they are the next level up, to be honest with you. And that's not to be a slight on Chelsea, but you've worked to really instill a wage structure. And I think the sorts of players that we're going for, Rodrygo, Nico Williams, they would break your wage structure. So I think it makes more sense for you. And I think you'll probably get him, to be honest, the way it's going. Did you see the Rodrygo might be 90% done? Yeah, we're going to talk about it. We are going to talk about it. Don't you worry. Deadline day, and we've signed no one. Ship Arteta back to Spain. I know it's worse than the Petr Cech transfer window. But no, it is. It's literally only for Chelsea and Man City. Well, any of the Club World Cup teams that there's an actual deadline. And I do find it interesting because the teams that they're trying to buy players from know that they're like not panicking, but they need to get it done by today. And so they're holding out for big prices, which is why I think like Chelsea bid 42 million for Gittens and it immediately got rejected by Dortmund, which is pretty interesting. So anyone have any info on the Emirates Cup? I don't think the details of the Emirates Cup are out yet, to be honest with you. I would probably have made a video if the details of it had come out. So I don't think so. But look, let's get into the news. We'll start with Zubimendi because that one got wrapped up. Obviously, there was a little bit of panic yesterday. Oh, by the way, the Hand of Arsenal that was in the chat yesterday, not Hand of Arsenal. It was a fraud. It was an absolute fraud. Hand of Arsenal messaged me after the stream and said that it wasn't him. So don't worry about that. But on Zubimendi anyway, Ornstein this morning, he was actually, if you scrolled back through, David Ornstein was the only proper journalist that hadn't actually like put his name to Zubimendi joining Arsenal at any point, but he did this morning. Arsenal regard Martin Zubimendi's move from Real Sociedad as done and signed. 26-year-old Spanish midfielder expected to report at the start of pre-season with Arsenal. Real Madrid sources say that Real Madrid were never actively pursuing the situation. So we really do not need to worry. Hand of Arsenal was in the stream? No, he wasn't in the stream. He wasn't. I think someone had sent a screenshot of the Hand of Arsenal that was in the stream and said, Hand of Arsenal's just confirmed this. And then he sent it to me and was like, I wasn't in the stream. So there you go. Also on Zubimendi, though, this is interesting to note. Gunnerblog and along with Mario Cortagana, I think. Or no, that's a different one. Anyway, Gunnerblog basically said in The Athletic, Arsenal will pay a total of around 65 million euros for Martin Zubimendi, which is 5 million euros more than his 60 million euros release clause after agreeing with Real Sociedad to pay for his transfer in installments. Coming to this agreement after months of negotiation enables Arsenal to avoid paying the release clause in one lump sum. So that is actually good business. And that, if we're looking at what we're going to do in this window, the fact that we're structuring that, paying a little bit more, but spreading it out over time, means that we will be able to spend more this summer, which is obviously very, very good news. Real PR is one of the most annoying things ever. It's crazy. Real Madrid's PR is crazy. Do you know what's crazier than that? When you talk about Hand of Arsenal and his in-the-know abilities, he literally called what Marca's headline was going to be before they did it. He said Marca were going to lead with a front page about Zubimendi to Real Madrid. And then they did. And obviously he was like, don't worry about it. And then remember that source from a while ago. When did we use that source? Cadena Ser. Remember that one? When did we speak about Cadena Ser? I can't remember, but we spoke about Cadena Ser previously. And I think it's like a radio station. Yeah, on Rodrygo. On Rodrygo, we spoke about Cadena Ser. They were the first ones that said Rodrygo's agents had contacted Arsenal previously. And they were correct about the Zubimendi thing. So that is it. That's a good tick for the Cadena Ser source. And Marca, absolutely in the mud. Marca are just a mouthpiece for Real Madrid. Signing Zubimendi means more of a double pivot, or no? If Rice pushes into the 8, then the left-hand side remains unbalanced. If it's more of a pivot, Ødegaard can play centrally, balancing the team. Depends on the game. It completely depends on the game. Remember Jorginho and Rice in big games, like against Liverpool? Rice would actually sit the deeper of the two. He'd still have the ability to push forward, but if you actually took their positions, their average positions throughout the game, Jorginho was slightly further forward. But then if you took a different game, a game where we're more likely to be dominant, Jorginho would sit deeper and Rice would be far more aggressive in the press. So, yeah, I think it really does depend on the game state. Did I miss the Zubi news? The Zubi news is just that it's happening. Ornstein confirming it. The deal is done. It's signed. No worries. And also we are paying 5 million euros extra for him so that we can pay it in installments rather than one lump sum release clause, which means that we can spend more money this summer. Do you think Zubi starts straight away? Partey had his best season for us this season and showed his level and how important he is to us. Really depends. Really depends. I mean, it depends if Thomas Partey is still going to be at the club, which we still don't know. And then it also depends how Zubimendi fits in and settles in pre-season. The fact that he's going to be with us from the very start of pre-season means he is going to have a lot of time to get used to it and adapt. And we'll wait and see. So, yeah. Rail propaganda is vile. Yeah, it is. It's crazy. Tom, thank you very, very much for being a member of the channel for 3 months. That Zubi, Rice, Ødegaard trio into Saka, Sesko, and Rodrygo front three will make movies. Also, we need to bin Partey. Tom, massively appreciate you being a member for 3 months. Like I said, the memberships massively do help. All of it goes back in to the videos that we're trying to level up with. So that is much appreciated. And I agree. But Zubimendi, Rice, Ødegaard, Rodrygo, Sesko, Saka. We can dream. We can dream. And on that, the Rodrygo latest is this. So this came from Mario Cortegana. This was the guy I was talking about. Mario Cortegana, I think he's called. I think that's how you pronounce it. Anyway, so he works for The Athletic and he specializes in Real Madrid news. So a bit like Gunnerblog, where it's, he specializes in Arsenal for The Athletic. This guy specializes in Real Madrid for The Athletic. And he said, it is worth paying attention to Rodrygo. He has been approached through intermediaries by some Premier League clubs, with Arsenal keeping an eye on him, with Arteta convinced that he could have a big role at Arsenal. Arsenal like Rodrygo and feel he can add another dimension to their attack. However, the player's father and agent do not want to enter negotiations until the striker has spoken to Real Madrid and Xabi Alonso. Rodrygo says he wants to feel important and feels most comfortable playing on the left or more centrally than on the right. This is just good news. This is just good news. If Rodrygo is going to push to play centrally or on the left, he isn't going to stay at Real Madrid because it's just not going to happen. They're not going to move on Vinny Jr. or Kylian Mbappe, and they're not going to find a solution where Vinny Jr. and Kylian Mbappe aren't the left and the central attacking players. So it is good news. What's going on with Sane? Are we still going to go for him? Yeah, we're still in the talks for Leroy Sane. There's been various things come out today. I haven't actually jotted any of them down, but basically he's got offers on the table, some from Turkey, Galatasaray, I believe. He's got Arsenal as a potential option on the table. Staying at Bayern Munich is still a potential option. Apparently, he does favour a move to Arsenal over the move to Turkey. Apparently, his family still live in England, so it could work still. Which is, I think it's interesting. I'm going to make a video about the potential third forward signing that we could make. Now, this is the other bit of Rodrygo information that is going around a lot today. It's from an account called Kiko Suarez. The account has 6,000 followers, something like that. And it's a Real Madrid in the know, right? So we have hand of Arsenal. Supposedly, the guy is good when it comes to Real Madrid. Supposedly. I have no evidence to back that up. There are some people in the replies that say he is credible and he's got things right in the past. He is claiming Rodrygo will leave Real Madrid this season. Franco Mastantuono joining was the key factor for him to be sold. Now that the Argentinian is here, the club and the player are ready to part ways. According to my sources, Rodrygo will be an Arsenal player very soon. Brackets, there is another possible club, but Arsenal is more than likely the one. And then he ended it by saying, really sticking my neck out on the line on this one, but it is 90% done. So, listen, I'm not going to sit here and say that is reliable. I'm not going to sit here and say that Rodrygo to Arsenal is 90% done. But, a Real Madrid in the know who seemingly prides himself on his reputation, is claiming that it's 90% done. I would be very surprised if it was 90% done at this stage. But there you go. Do you think that there might not be a lot of competition for Rodrygo? Chelsea's wage structure, Liverpool getting Wirtz, City got so many wing forwards. Yeah. This is what I said before. I think Rodrygo is really doable if he leaves Real Madrid. And really, I actually think we would have massively fumbled it if we don't get him, if he leaves Real Madrid. Because like you say, Chelsea, I don't think can afford him. Or not that they can't afford him. They don't want to spend that sort of money on him. Liverpool would have been a genuine competitor, but if they're spending over 120 million on Wirtz and putting him on 340 grand a week, they are not doing Rodrygo in the same window. Like you said, with Man City, they've already spent a lot. Marmoush is going to have to play off the left-hand side, realistically. So, who else is there? Bayern is maybe the one. Bayern are in for a left winger this window, which is where this Barcola news has come from. So, maybe Bayern. But again, we should be able to offer more than Bayern. We should be able to offer better wages than Bayern. And obviously, it's the Premier League. So... And we've got Brazilian links, Big Gabby. Big Gabby needs to be in his ear, mate, on the phone. Get to him. You saw Hand of Arsenal called Real Madrid next move before it happened. Zubi picks on marker, cover. Yeah, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Bayern want Nico Williams too. Yeah, Bayern are the other big team that are legitimately in for a left winger this summer. And on Barcola, Christian Falk, who runs that CF Bayern page, did an article about Bayern being interested in Bradley Barcola, and Bradley Barcola could be available this summer, but it is going to be difficult to get him out of PSG. And within that article, he said Arsenal have been heavily linked to Nico Williams and Rodrygo, but it appears that they are also in the race for Barcola. Now, I think we'll more than likely go for Rodrygo if he's available ahead of Barcola. But the good thing here for me, the great thing here for me, is if we are in the conversation for Rodrygo, Williams, Barcola, knowing full well that these are very expensive deals to pull off, the money has to be there. Like, we wouldn't be bothering with these conversations that are generating these rumours if the money wasn't going to be there. And that's in step with us still going for Benjamin Sesko. So I really do think Sesko and a big winger is going to happen this transfer window, which would be ideal. Has anything been said about Sesko and the Saudi offers? No, we'll get onto that shortly. We haven't spoken about Sesko just yet. Leao as well. Yeah, Leao. Look, all of them are expensive. So it's good news. Hoping Madrid go out in the group stages. I just don't want to see Rodrygo playing, to be honest. Or if he is playing off the right-hand side. When does preseason start? For Arsenal, I think the only preseason that we've got booked in so far is let me just find it. I think basically the players are coming back for preseason at the start of July. The first one that we've got in the book is against AC Milan on Wednesday, the 23rd of July. Wednesday, 23rd of July is the first one we got booked in. We'll probably have at least one before that, I would imagine. Chatter Dragon, welcome to the stream for the first time. You'll love to see it. Thoughts on Norway being in the World Cup 2026? They're flying. Oh, Martin Ødegaard is cooking as well, by the way. Seen both of the highlight reels of Martin Ødegaard against Estonia and against whoever they play. Who did they beat in the first game? 3-0? Can't remember now. But yeah, he's cooking. And they're on 4 wins out of 4 in their World Cup qualifying group. So pretty impressive. Any news on exits? Yeah, a couple of bits on exits that we'll get to. I don't think the Cronkies will be happy if we sign Sesko, Rodrygo, and Zubi before sales. They will want us to sell before we go for Rodrygo, in my opinion. Possibly. I don't think they're Italy. Yeah, that was it. Which is crazy. Barcola, Rodrygo, Williams, and Leao, we've all inquired about. Yeah, we have. On Sesko, this is the latest on Benjamin Sesko. Ryan Taylor said Sesko won't play versus Bosnia as Leipzig have asked the Slovenian FA for him to be left out to avoid injury, with Arsenal set for fresh talks this week. The player prefers to stay in Europe despite interest from Al Hilal. And then Sam Dean in the Telegraph said, my understanding is that 2 Saudi Pro League clubs have recently expressed an interest in signing Benjamin Sesko. The 22-year-old is thought to currently prefer a move to another European club, but the situation is fluid. So there are seemingly at least 1, possibly 2 Saudi clubs interested in Sesko. Do I think he will move to Saudi? No. Like, this is a guy who turned down Arsenal last summer to further his career. Like, he turned us down to focus on developing the best way he possibly could as a footballer. I don't think you do that to then move to Saudi. Like, if money and big moves were his priority, he'd have moved to Arsenal last summer, and he didn't. So I really do think that he will not move to Saudi. What it could do, though, is it could allow both Leipzig and Sesko's camps to demand more money. So it could allow Leipzig to turn around and say, well, look, the Saudi clubs are offering this, so you're going to have to increase your offer. And it could also allow Sesko's agent to turn around and say, he's getting offered this to go to Saudi Arabia, so you're going to have to offer more. Maybe it ends up making him a little bit more expensive, but I've got no doubt that he will not move to Saudi. I just really don't think that would make sense for him. Max, thank you very, very much for a $4.99 super chat. As an Argentinian, I want Arsenal to sign some Argentinian talent. Get me Julian Alvarez. He's a grinder. Yeah, look, it has been coming out over the last couple of days. Arsenal have been interested in Julian Alvarez, and some conversations were had, I believe. But I just think it's a really difficult deal to do. I would like him. I would like Julian Alvarez, but there you go. He rejected a big money move to mature his skills. No way he does an Oscar. Yeah, exactly. Also, Max, once again, thank you very, very much for that. Massively do appreciate it. We're on nearly 700 viewers, by the way, so if you could subscribe and like the video, the live stream, I would be very grateful. Just click the little thumbs up button. It massively helps. Isn't this for the Club World Cup too? So after today, they probably won't want him anymore. If it's which I can't remember which Saudi clubs are in the Club World Cup. Possibly though, yeah. Which Saudi clubs are in the Club World Cup? Is it it's Al Ahly, right? Al Ahly and I think it's just them. Oh, and Al Ain. Are they from Saudi? Oh, no, and Al Hilal. Are there more Saudi clubs than Premier League clubs? Or is Al Ain, is that a different country? Is that Qatar maybe? So it's definitely Al Hilal and Al Ahly. Or Al Ahly not from Saudi? I get confused, to be honest with you. Al Ain is UAE. Okay, that makes sense. Ittihad aren't in it now. Ittihad aren't in it. I feel like we used to hear all kinds of these rumours with Arsenal and we fumbled getting the signature all the time. But now when I hear we're really in for someone, we usually make it happen. Yeah, we do. We've massively improved in that regard, in fairness. And like I've seen Arsenal fans complaining they're Egypt. Sorry, Al Ain are right. So Al Ain are Egyptian. So how many Saudi clubs are there in the? I don't know. Any news on the Greek Karetsas? No, there's been nothing on Karetsas since we spoke about him previously. But there you go. Did you see the article in The Athletic about us being linked to Mark Guehi or interested in Mark Guehi? Yeah, in The Athletic today, Arsenal are still interested in a central centre-back. So Arsenal are basically the reason we were in for Dean Huijsen is that we are interested basically in a player that can fill in for both Saliba and Gabriel. Like one player that covers both. Kind of what Tomiyasu, I guess, was meant to be back in the day, but a better version. That was why we wanted Dean Huijsen. Mark Guehi is seen as an alternative. Mark Guehi is highly unlikely to join Arsenal this summer. Crystal Palace will demand a lot of money for him. He's got 1 year left on his deal, and he is going to want to be starting games next season because of the World Cup. It's possible. I'll tell you what is possible. Guehi runs down his contract for the final year at Crystal Palace because he's only got 1 year left. Obviously, he'll start for Crystal Palace, which will give him the best chance of playing in the World Cup. And then he moves to Arsenal next summer on a free. Or really, he could move anywhere next summer on a free. It will be his choice. So that could be potentially what happens with Mark Guehi. I hate that I'm really expecting to get Sesko, Rodrygo, and Zubi, setting myself up to be disappointed. Yeah, so that was what I was going to say. I've seen people complaining about Arsenal's transfer window so far, right? Because, City have signed Reinders and Aït-Nouri and Ryan Cherki. They had a deadline of today. And we've already done Zubimendi and Kepa. So we've done two of the signings that we wanted to get done. And we now have, we still got like 2 months to sort out Rodrygo, Sesko, and perhaps a third forward. So I really don't know why some people are getting so. I think it's like people are out of sync. It's when the clocks go forward and suddenly people are they have no idea what's going on. I feel like because people are hearing deadline day today and because some transfers have gone through, people are just suddenly panicking. Need to relax. Who's the best Arsenal Twitter accounts to follow for reliable Arsenal transfer news? Hand of Arsenal is the best Arsenal in the know that there is. I would then say, how do you spell it? Kartik is the best aggregator. How do you spell Kartik? He goes by Doc. So KARTHIKADHIAGAL. But if you just search Doc Arsenal, I think you should see it. He's got like a red thing. He's the best aggregator in my opinion, and Hand of Arsenal is the best. Is the best in the know. And then obviously when it comes to journalists, David Ornstein, Sami Mokbel, they are the top two, in my opinion. 2 SA transfers is top. To be fair, I haven't seen much of him. I know he's called a few things. I haven't seen a huge amount of him though. Seen rivals say we signed no one. Well, there was that graphic that went round on the Transfer News Live Twitter page. Shared a graphic of a tweet from flipping CFC Mod or one of those Chelsea troll accounts where it was like Liverpool have signed Kerkez, Wirtz, and Frimpong. City have signed Cherki, Reinders, and Aït-Nouri. Chelsea have signed, and it was like half of the players that they were saying had signed for these clubs haven't actually signed for them, and then for Arsenal it didn't include Kepa or Zubimendi. It's so weird, and people just run with it. Trust the process. Thank you very, very much for a $4.99 super chat. Thanks for all the level-headed reporting. Keep up the great work. Trust the process. I massively, massively do appreciate that. Absolute legend. Eduardo Hain. Right, if you want a constant barrage of Arsenal news, follow Eduardo Hain. The problem is he has no quality filter. So he will share anything from anyone about links to Arsenal, which becomes somewhat frustrating at times, to be honest with you. With Berta wheeling and dealing, signing no one is impossible. That guy is tapping up every target in Europe. Yeah. And by the way, I'm excited to see what we do in the youth market as well. I'm excited to see when this Tognozzi guy comes in, I'm excited to see what sort of moves we start making with youth. Follow him, but don't believe everything he says. Yeah. Rodrygo, Sesko, Saka gives me goosebumps, imagine. Honestly, it would be unbelievable. A few other little bits and pieces from today. Sam Dean said, despite talks going on over a Trossard deal, he could get fresh terms, but the outcome still remains uncertain. So nothing has progressed so far with Leandro Trossard. And then this one was interesting. Mate Moretto, who's a very, very good source, said Atletico Madrid and Theo Hernandez have reached an agreement on personal terms. Theo has said yes to Atleti, hoping that they and Milan can agree on a final fee. Why is that interesting? Well, because Di Marzio had previously reported that Zinchenko is an option for Milan if Theo Hernandez were to leave. So originally at that point, Theo Hernandez was actually being linked to Al Hilal. But it now sounds like he might go to Atletico Madrid. And that could open the door for Alexander Zinchenko going to AC Milan. So Max Diamond coming in next season as well. Yep. Hopefully. AFTV have to be the worst when it comes to Arsenal transfer rumours. They post all of the shambolic rumours they see on Twitter. Yeah, look, people have got to get clicks and stuff, I suppose. So, yeah, look, people share all sorts of absolute nonsense. Last I heard, Milan were also in for Gabi Martinelli. I don't think they'll be able to afford Martinelli, to be honest. Unless they sold Leao for big money and then used that money to buy Martinelli. Are you watching the Club World Cup? Well, I'm going to watch some of it, right? I'm going to watch some of the Club World Cup, but realistically, I was looking through the fixtures for the Club World Cup, and the opening game, as an example, kicks off at 1 a.m. UK time, and it's Al Ahly against Inter Miami. So, recommend following League Gunner as well. Club World Cup. Yeah, look, they are struggling, by the way, the Club World Cup. I saw a thing today in The Athletic. They have currently only sold, for the opening game, right? The opening game of the Club World Cup, Al Ahly against Inter Miami. So even with Lionel Messi, they've sold 25,000 tickets for the opening game. And it's at the Hard Rock Stadium, which has a capacity of 65,000. And so they're literally less than half full. Imagine that. Less than half full stadium with Al Ahly against Inter Miami. I just don't know what they were expecting from this tournament. I really don't. It might, much later in the tournament, when it's the big boys, it might get better. But yeah, I don't know. Pete, thank you very, very much for the $4.99 super chat. Thank you, Rory, for always being positive. I don't understand the meltdown with some Arsenal fans. The transfer window is not even fully open. Pete, I massively do appreciate the $4.99. And look, I don't force positivity. I just generally am positive about the direction and trajectory of the club. I genuinely believe we have one of the best managers in the world. I genuinely believe we have one of the best squads in the world. And so I'm not going to sit here and slate everything that we do. And, I see people in the comments and stuff as well. It's almost like they want things to go badly so they can turn around and be proven correct, which is just bizarre. But look, Pete, I do appreciate that. Wow, this man has been PR trained. Who's been PR trained? Me? I've never been PR trained. Rory never reads my comments. Here we are. No, I do try and read comments, but you have to appreciate that these days, when we've got 700 of you here, the comments go through pretty quickly. They really do. And And I'll be honest, members, and this isn't me trying to sell you the membership, but members' names come up in a different color. Members' names are green for me, and it just naturally draws my eye to the members. So members' chats do get read out more than non-members. Not because I'm a sellout, not because you have to pay to play. It just draws my attention. So apologies about that. Dortmund rejected a €50 million offer for Gittens because they want another 5 mil, apparently. Yeah, apparently. Which is fine. And the thing is, there's no reason for Dortmund to sell for less than they want to, because if Gittens is truly part of Chelsea's plan, they'll still come back for him after today's deadline. So they'll still come back. So there's no reason for Dortmund to rush the deal. There's every reason for Chelsea to rush the deal. Sesko or Gyökeres and why? Don't spam. Please don't spam. Marcus, please don't spam. That's not the solution to the problem. Benjamin Sesko, I think, for me, just about. I'll take either of them. I've always said I'll be happy with both. My bad. No worries. Maignan deal off as well. Yeah, they want... The Maignan deal is bizarre. Like, they were offering like 4 million quid short of what AC Milan want. And then the Chelsea like PR machine from Chelsea's ownership is crazy, because they then brief, oh, well, actually, no, we're happy with the keepers that we've got. If you were happy with the keepers you've got, you wouldn't be trying to buy Mike Maignan. Like, clearly you're not happy with the keepers you've got because you're trying to buy another keeper. So, yeah, that was just odd. Nid, thank you very, very much for gifting a membership. And it looks like Logical Nonsense has got it. So there you go. And that is always good to see, because Logical Nonsense has been here for a long time. He's always in the chat. And now he is a member. So you'll love to see it. Nid, your support on the channel, as always, absolutely incroyable. So thank you very much. How would Arsenal get into the Club World Cup? I don't know how that works. Getting into the Club World Cup is to do with, I believe, the coefficient points, right? Which is to do with how far you've gone in the Champions League and stuff like that. I mean, I don't really understand it, because obviously, like, Atletico Madrid are there, but Barcelona aren't, and Chelsea are there, and I think that's because Chelsea won the Champions League. But I don't really get it. And like Dortmund are there, which, yeah, I don't get it. And it's, to be honest, it's another reason. It's another reason that the Club World Cup's not going to do very well. Like the fact that the biggest league in America that Americans watch is the Premier League, right? As it is across most of the world. So the biggest league that Americans watch is the Premier League. Regardless of whether you like it, the three main teams that Americans will watch are still Man United, Liverpool, and Arsenal. Like Chelsea and Man City just aren't that big. Hashir, please stop spamming. I want Rodrygo, but please stop spamming. But yeah, so it's odd, and and I don't know. So to get into it in the future, I guess we just have to do well in the Champions League. Like, I would imagine if we're consistently placing in the semi-finals, perhaps final of the Champions League over the next 4 years, I'd assume that helps us get there. But yeah, I'm not too sure. George said previously, who is your favorite Arsenal TikToker? Not you, obviously. Who would you recommend watching? I would say, do you know what? There's a kid called Daily AFC who started at the same time as me, and I've just been following his journey, and he actually got to make a video with Kai Havertz recently, so that was pretty cool. Obviously, Papa Pincus's videos are normally pretty high quality. There's a lot of good TikTokers out there. There's a lot of good ones. Nid with the subtle hint. Wait, what did Nid say? This is why you need more mods. Nid, comment on the playback of the stream. I think that's because I need to be able to click your name to mod you on the channel, and I can't do it on here during the stream. But yeah, I probably do need a few more mods. I probably do. Would you want Arsenal to play in the Club World Cup next time? It's such a tricky one, because if you win it, I think it's worth it financially. Like, you get over 100 million quid for winning the Club World Cup. So I think it's probably worth it. Equally, I think it'll be really interesting to see how Man City and Chelsea start next season. I think, right now, actually, do you know what? Right now, I don't know the answer to that question. Once we've seen the impact that playing in the Club World Cup has on a team going into the following season, then I'll be able to answer it better. Because I think it could have a big impact, to be honest with you. Stop rewarding spammers. Yeah, I shouldn't answer the spammers question. You're right. Who do you think will win the Club World Cup? Real Madrid. I think Real Madrid will win it. I think it's just one of those things. It's just set up for them to win it. I think it'll take a toll on the teams in it. I think it will, especially because a lot of these players, like, think about, I don't know. I mean, Julian Alvarez is actually a great example because Julian Alvarez played more games, I think, than any other person player in 2024. But he'll have gone from like playing at City to then playing the Copa America last summer, to then a full season with Atletico Madrid, to then doing this, to then another full season. Yeah, anyone that played at the Euros or Copa America last summer, it's brutal. It's absolutely brutal. Tuchel said Arsenal and Liverpool have an advantage for not going to the Club World Cup. Yeah, 100%. 100%. Loopy, good to see you. Welcome back. The next break they have is 2027. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. Next year we've got the World Cup. It's madness. It's absolute madness. AFCON as well. Yeah, is the next AFCON this season? Like during this season? Because that'd be pretty crazy. That would be pretty crazy. Any chance of the Canon Podcast collab? Would love to see you chatting with Alex. Maybe. December? It starts in December? Jeez. Who's going to get impacted a lot by that? Who's going to get impacted a lot by the Club World Cup? Not the Club World Cup, sorry, AFCON. We're not going to get impacted at all, right? It would only be Thomas Partey. Wait, did Ghana even qualify? Wait, who's even qualified for... Has the qualifying already happened? AFCON. Are Ghana in it? Nah, Ghana aren't even in it. I don't think Ghana are in it. No, they're not. So Thomas Partey wouldn't even go anyway. So who would be in danger of... Obviously, Liverpool are going to lose Mo Salah. Would they lose anyone else? Senegal, Cameroon, Brian Mbeumo. Wherever Brian Mbeumo ends up. If he ends up at United, he's going to go. That'll be interesting. Osman. Whoever Osman ends up at, he'll go. Marmoush. Oh, yeah, City will lose Marmoush. Yeah, actually, we'll probably come out of it quite well. We will probably come out of it quite well. Is there anyone else? Oh, Ike Nori as well. Yeah. That is interesting. Yeah, losing Marmoush and Ike Nori, that could be City's left-hand side next season. I missed a super chat. Oh, shit. TSTV, thank you very, very much for the £2 super chat. Goat of the football content creator game. I'm not, but I appreciate it. Thank you very, very much for the support. And XGRATSKITTY has become a new member. XGRAXTY. Thank you very, very much for becoming a member of the channel. It massively helps, and I am massively grateful for it. Hand of Arsenal striker update just now. Breaking. Hand of Arsenal. What's he saying? What's Hand of Arsenal saying on the striker? Here we go. Striker. Wow, this is a long one. Are you ready, folks? This is a long one. We're going to read it all out. Striker context. Many may have noticed that I've been silent on the striker situation since May. I'm going to explain why, chronologically. Walk with me. Firstly, it's important to address the union at Arsenal. I see many people trying to pit Mikel against Andrea Berta. Nothing could be further from the truth. I reported it was Arteta who held calls with Andrea and advocated along with the board to recruit the Italian sniper in the first place. A rigorous recruitment process was conducted. At any global sports enterprise, there will always be a difference of opinion. It's actually very productive to growth and enhancement in achieving sporting objectives when nurtured correctly. Do you know what? I'm actually let me bring this up so that you can read it. I feel like this is a long thing to be reading if you can't actually see what I'm reading. Let me bring it up. Is that a bit... That might be a bit difficult for you to read still. Hang on. Let me zoom in as well. Here we go. Here we go. Right. We're down to here. So the summer transfer plan is unanimously agreed on, that I assure you. Gyökeres. I start by saying the country of Portugal suffers from pristine journalists. Therefore, once Mr. Ornstein reported our interest in the Swede, we heard many reports on ghost offers for him, but nothing materialized. Andrea Berta has every financial detail on his file. As I reported, no bid was or has been made as of yet. Although the reporting was heavy, it is crucial to pin that it resulted in no official offer being placed as of Monday. Benjamin Sesko. Arsenal have been in talks with Sesko's camp for 2 years now. Hence, when reports emerged on Friday, I was silent. Let me explain their internal situation, which they don't want to be made public. The club need to sell immediately. They are in advanced talks with their new coach and also want to plan their own summer transfer window with targets lined up. As you all know, no UCL money has made them desperate, and Berta is well aware. Marcel Schaefer, their director of football, has been briefing journalists to sensationalize these talks. He then further briefed them over the weekend about Leipzig being calm when they were far from it to posture publicly. I can tell you firsthand, they intentionally leaked the Saudi interest as a last ditch to hurry Arsenal. Sam Dean is spot on about 2 clubs from Saudi being in for him and could well try to tempt him urgently. As far as I'm aware, personal terms are not agreed, but that won't be an issue at all. The player has personally told Arteta he's ready to lead the line at Arsenal and wants to remain in Europe as a first choice. Ollie Watkins is seen as a fail-safe option. Remember I asked you to pin the point of no Gyökeres bid despite media hype? The same can be said for Benjamin Sesko. Until a bid is made, do not let your eyes deceive you, nor constant alerts reporting lead you astray. Talks are taking place this week to test the resolve of Leipzig's firm stance and gain financial clarity before a true decision is made. This post was made to provide clarity, exactly where we are currently. Patience is key. We're reaching the end game, and I will see you all at the finish line. So there you go. There you go. That is everything that Hand of Arsenal has said. And that all sounds pretty good. I still think we're going to go for Sesko. It's encouraging to hear that Leipzig really are desperate to sell him. And if they are, and we know that, you can see why we're waiting. Like, we're not the desperate ones in this situation. We can pivot to Victor Gyökeres. We can pivot to Ollie Watkins. Of course, we want Sesko. But there you go. So that's pretty good. Brother has premium subscription of English. Basically, he wants to move to us. Yes. And the Saudi links are probably a bit overblown by the sounds of things. Nicholas Jackson and Onana. Oh, yeah, Jackson. Yeah, I forgot about that one as well. Is there anyone else in that Chelsea team? No. Why are we delaying, though? Pushing the price down? Yeah, because we don't need to buy instantly. We've got time, and apparently Leipzig don't. So, Amad Diallo. Yeah. Oh, yeah, United could be in the mud a little bit. Amad Diallo. Mbuemo, if they get him. And Onana. And Mazraoui, actually. And Mazraoui. And Morocco in it. I think Morocco are in it, right? Yeah, Morocco are in it as well. Yeah, they'd have real problems. Yeah, I assume Salah will be going. There's over 700 of you here, by the way. If you could click the like button and subscribe if you're not already, that would be absolutely sensational. Basuma, maybe? No, I don't think. Wait, where's Basuma from again? Mali. Mali qualified. Is that where he's from? Victor Gyökeres is Swedish. I don't think he's going to be playing at AFCON. Or are you talking about something else? Emirates Cup, Arsenal versus Lyon, North London forever. Steve, good to see you, Steve. Do you know what the date of that is? Do you know the date of that, Steve? When is the Prem timetable released? Fairly soon, I think. I think it's fairly soon. What was your job before TikTok? I worked in social media marketing, so I was working in marketing. That was kind of how I got into it in the first place. So I had a full-time job, then I went freelance so that I could spend more time on TikTok, and then now I'm just a full-time TikToker. The fact that Partey's not going to AFCON, we need to keep him. Possibly. 18th of June, there you go. 8 days. A week tomorrow. We get the... I'll tell you what, bookmark this. When the Premier League fixtures come out, this is how I predict it will go. Arsenal and Liverpool will have a really hard start from the start of September to November. Just like we did this year, Liverpool will get it too. When you're really busy with the Champions League and your players aren't quite up to speed because it's the start of the season, guarantee we get a really tough schedule. And Liverpool will as well. Man City won't. Man City will get an easy start. Man City will then get the majority of their hard games in the middle of the season when all of the Premier League teams are playing twice a week anyway throughout Christmas and stuff. And then get towards the end of the season, Arsenal and Liverpool will have some difficult games and Man City will have an easy run. That's not an excuse. That is a prediction. And I am happy to stand by that prediction. Just you wait and see. Is YouTube just a side thing now, or it's a priority? Of course, after TikTok, that's your bread and butter. I want YouTube to be like more sustainable. So yeah, like YouTube is where I'm at the point now where if I make a video, like it will make enough money that I can pay an editor. So then I can improve the quality of the videos with an editor. It's just about slowly growing. So then you get that. So then you can grow a bit more quickly. And then, yeah, it's all a process. But in the meantime, obviously, TikTok is the bread and butter. Are you going to watch the England game? Yeah, I'll watch the England game. I will watch it. June 16th, the real transfer window. June 16th, the real transfer window starts. Let's sit back and relax. Yeah, exactly. No worries, Ian. No worries. Is the Sesko offer a real threat? Missed this? No, it's not, Ian. It's not a real threat. Apparently, Leipzig have briefed it as well. The latest Hand of Arsenal post pretty much covered it. Steve says, I know I'm like a broken record, but I'm still struggling on losing Gyökeres. Of course, I hope Sesko is successful, but it's tough to take. North London forever. Steve, you might be right. I'm excited for both. Excited for both. But look, the thing is, Victor Gyökeres is probably going to move to the Premier League this summer. And so we are going to be able to see whether or not we were right or wrong. Like, if he goes to United, like, he won't score as many goals as if he went to Arsenal because they don't create as many chances. But it will be interesting. Didn't Saka say that he'll start one last game? I don't know if he said he would start. I think he said he'd be involved, but we'll wait and see. The fewer minutes him, Declan Rice, and Miles Lewis-Skelly play, the better. In the first game, Saka didn't play at all, Miles Lewis-Skelly didn't play at all, and Declan Rice only played 10 minutes. That was ideal. But yeah, Emirates Cup, 11th of August. Oh, there you go. So yeah, because that's later in the day. I don't think the one friendly I don't think we're going to play is against Nuremberg. Normally our very first preseason game is in Germany. I don't know if that's actually going to happen this time. So that'll be interesting. No worries, Victor. Good to see you. Do you think Rodrygo is the right profile, or is he just such high quality that you go for him regardless? I do think he's the right profile, yeah. I do think he's the right profile. I mean, he's incredibly versatile, which massively helps, and it's something Arteta always looks for. But also, on that left-hand side, like, I think we've struggled with Martinelli not being two-footed enough, being a little bit too predictable, and not being a threat down the left when he goes to the byline. I think Rodrygo has both of it, and he'll play more narrowly. Which obviously Miles Lewis-Skelly can play at left back, but in a world where he's fully fit, Calafiori will play a lot of games at left back. And I think if you have Calafiori overlapping with Rodrygo on the inside, remember the Trossard goal against PSV. I see things like that happening, which would be good. Do you think Martinelli or Trossard should be sold? I think one of them will be sold if we sign Rodrygo, yeah. It just makes sense. I think having all three of them would be crazy. Also, Ødegaard's national duties are done. He's gone on vacation, got to rest that ankle before a massive season. Yeah, look, Ødegaard did really well for Norway in the last couple of games. So did really well. Go and have a proper long rest, come back. I think he's going to be quality next season. I think Ødegaard is going to turn it around. I really do. Thank you, Rory, for the work that you do, especially your TikTok videos. Brief, informative, and funny. Keep doing that. And the sky will be the limit. Thank you very, very much. I appreciate that a lot. Anyway, look, that is going to be it for all of the news. But we will have our Arsenal trivia question before we do end the stream. So get your fingers on your keyboards. First person to get it right in the chat wins the immense pride and respect of the Rory Talks Football community. I am not going to give you the multiple choice answers. I am expecting you to know the answer without needing the multiple choice because we are better than the multiple choice. The question is this. What was the very first name of Arsenal Football Club? What was the very first name of Arsenal Football Club? Right. Now that someone's got it right, I will give you the multiple choice. So the multiple choice was Woolwich Arsenal, the Gunners, or Dial Square. And the answer, and the first person to get the correct answer, was Dial Square. And it's FFS PPL. For fuck's sake, people. Dial Square was correct. Congratulations. It was not Woolwich. It was not Woolwich. It wasn't Woolwich Arsenal. It was Dial Square. And in fact, they provide a little bit of extra information for you here. So it was Dial Square, later became known as Royal Arsenal, and then Woolwich Arsenal before being Arsenal. So there you go. Another bit of trivia for you to get on board with. What about the Barcola interest? Yeah, so the Barcola interest, very quickly, was an article from Christian Falk about Bayern Munich being interested in Barcola, it being a very difficult deal to do. But within that, he said that Arsenal have been heavily linked to Nico Williams and Rodrygo, but it appears they are also in the race for Barcola. But look, that is going to be the end of the stream. I massively appreciate all of you for joining. We've had new members, super chats today. Massively appreciate the support on that. Please do like and subscribe before you jump off if you've not done already. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your Tuesday afternoon / evening. There will be a video coming out soon that I'm working on. And of course, the live streams will continue. I imagine there will still be transfer news over the next few days, despite the window being shut. And yeah, turn those notifications on if you ever want to know when I'm going live. But until then, I hope you all have a good one. I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye.